Trans Am is simply the best road racing series of all time. The cars, the drivers, the unlimited budgets and factory teams, everything has always been world class. Trans Am captured the public imagination like nothing else. Why, Pontiac even named a car after it and paid millions for the privilege. 2016 marks the 50th anniversary of Trans Am. It started modestly enough on Friday, March 25, 1966, a 4-hour support race before the famous 12 Hours of Sebring. Despite a 5-minute pit stop halfway through, SCCA racer Bob Tullius won the over 2-liter class in a Dodge Dart. Neither Tullius nor the SCCA nor American racing would ever be the same. The success of Trans Am was due primarily to one thing and one thing only. Ford's new Mustang was the most successful car in history, and every other manufacturer wanted its own pony car. The best way to publicize a high-performance car is racing, and the best place to race pony cars was Trans Am. After Tom Yeager won the Manufacturers' Championship for Ford in 1966, everyone else had to show up too. The classic rivalry between Bud Moore's Mustangs driven by Parnelli Jones and George Fulmer versus Roger Penske's Camaros and Javelins driven by Mark Donohue is the stuff of which legends are made. Some would call this the glory days of Trans Am. In fact, there is a racing group called Historic Trans Am that preserves and races these exact cars prepared just the way they were back in the day.
I don't feel as though I have permission to change this car. The history of this car is so critically important to Trans Am, all the history of Trans Am, that it is just, I'm a fortunate person to be able to own it. I get to be a part of its life, and that's all I can say is that I hope that this car will stay like this forever.
Be fortunate enough to be able to do this and buy the car and meet Parnelli and be able to run the car in the historic Trans Am series.
It's an honor. You realize just how important a car is to the fans when you go off to some of these tracks and you're surrounded with people that know more about the history of the car than you do.
Over the years, Trans Am rules changed, cars changed, drivers changed, but the racing was always superb. George Fulmer won his second championship in 1976 with a Porsche. Then came the era of the big block Corvettes, then the Group 44 Jaguars. The 80s were dominated by Roush Racing, which won an astounding 46 out of 83 Trans Am races thanks to Willie T. Ribbs and Wally Dallenbach Jr. The cars were now tube frame silhouettes, but the competition was as slam bam and gritty as ever. Lynn St. James used the Trans Am to become the most successful and well-known female racing driver in history. The 90s brought back serious factory support from Ford, Chevrolet, Oldsmobile, and Dodge. In 1992, Jack Baldwin inched out his Chevy teammate Scott Sharp to win the Trans Am Championship on the last turn of the last race of the season. But now it's come back stronger than ever, with classic Trans Am names like Mustang, Camaro, Challenger, battling Porsche, Jaguar, and even Cadillac. Amy Ruman absolutely controlled the 2015 season in her Corvette, in the process becoming the first woman to win a major road racing championship.
We stayed with it, we persevered today. This McNichols Company 23 staying underneath me.
After 50 years, Trans Am is still vital, innovative, and exciting. Yet when you see new Camaros, Mustangs, and Challengers painted up like those of the historic Trans Am, if you don't feel a pang of nostalgia, you're no racing romantic. From Trans Am legends Bob Tullius and Tom Yeager, through motorsports heroes George Fulmer, Lynn St. James, and Willie T. Ribbs of Trans Am's middle years, from Jack Baldwin and Ron Fellows to Amy Ruman, Trans Am has always been one hell of a ride.